Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of the Senturus Knowledge Series. Today, we'll be presenting on the topic of Cognos Analytics, dashboards, or reports. The agenda today, after some brief introductions, we are going to hand it over to our presenter to do a dashboarding use case overview, then move on to a reporting use case overview. We'll see some live demonstrations, and then stick around after that for a brief Senturus overview, some additional, almost entirely free resources for the wonderful Q&A that happens at the end. And again, please submit your questions via the question panel. So introductions. Today, I am joined by Patrick Powers, who has been with Senturus for 15 years now as a data scientist, consultant, and trainer. My name is Mike Weinhauer. I wear a number of different hats here at Senturus, one of them being an MC for these sessions. So I'm pleased to be joined by Patrick today, who will be sharing some of his expertise on the Cognos front. So before we kick off the main content here, we'd like to get a little interactive, and I have a poll for you all. So within your organization, please tell us how widespread is the use of self-service Cognos dashboarding. So please select one of the four options: widely adopted, if it's only used in pockets, or you're just starting, or you're not using it at all. All right, great. We got about 80% of you here. So let's share this out. So about 11% widely adopted, quarter of you used in pockets, closer to half just getting started with it, and almost a quarter of you not using it at all. Interesting. Thank you for sharing your insights there. And with that, we'll move to the next slide and into the content, the main part of the content. Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mike. So today, since a lot of you are just starting out, you probably have the questions, why would I want to use dashboards? What are dashboards for? What are we going to do with them? Let's start with the first immediate thing. Dashboards are meant to answer questions visually. They are centered around the use of visualizations. Any of you who've started using 10.2 or later have seen visualizations available in your reports, and you've seen that they keep adding more and more. We saw different ones between 10.2, between 11.0, 11.1, and they keep adding more of these. The ability to change them with JSON, the ability to improve on them. Everything is being centered around data being visual. And what does that mean? That means for you and for your users, making it accessible for any skill level. No matter whether we want to admit it or not, we all know that sometimes management or other folks in our organization need simpler views, simpler reports, and we need to make sure that we're hitting those skill levels. They don't have the time to look at a 5,000 row list report, which is not even a report, and we all know it. They need to see summary information, but dashboards can be as simple or as complex as you need them to be. There's a lot about design when it comes to dashboarding. And that's going to be one of the biggest differences. They can be static. We can have filters. A lot of the newer visualizations have animation in them, which again, if we're targeting a certain audience, that's great. It gets their attention. It gets them looking at things that they might have ignored in the past. Yeah, there's a little bit of that ooh-ah factor where people look at it and giggle because the bars move. You know, we know that. We may not like it, but we know that. One nice thing with the dashboarding, like data modules, we can bring in different sources, and with dashboards, we can directly build dashboards from all sorts of sources, whether it's an FM package, whether it's a data module, or even a directly uploaded file. You can take an Excel file, upload it, and start building right away. And if your skill set is, hey, I know how to drag and drop and I know how to deal with my Excel file, boom, this is the tool for you. One of the bigger challenges in the past when it comes to reporting is having multiple data sources in a report. Now, thankfully, we can finally have multiple packages in reporting, but this is something when you want a dashboard, you may have 4 objects on a dashboard and all 4 of those come from a different data source. Dashboards make that easy. Dashboards can be for one person trying to do their own analysis. Think Query Studio. Think about it as a visual Query Studio. Think about it as an Cognos workspace on steroids. Or it can be distributed. It can be shared. With Cognos Analytics, we can share via Slack. We can share via other methods. So we can share this. And again, they're continuing to add to the technology to be able to print these, to be able to push them out in PDF format. So lots of different ways. The amount of formatting is going to depend upon how you're using it. Am I showing this on a screen? Am I putting in a PDF? Is this going to be printed? That's where some of the formatting is going to really be a question for you. Okay. I am going to be showing you today on an 11.1.5. The current release version is 11.1.6 with 11.1.7 just imminent on the horizon. I know a few people are doing presentations today and tomorrow on that. As of right now, they have started to reach technical par, but there are still some limitations. And those limitations start to come in when we look at the granular control. For many of you, and I'd love to see this as a poll, the ability to work at the query level isn't there. And if you need to do things like joins or unions or intersections or custom SQL and not being able to get to the query level, that's a deal breaker. That's a stopping point for a lot of you. Using dashboards will really put you into having data sources that are solid, that are all together, summarized views, materialized views, aggregate tables. Those will work beautifully. Proper star schema FM packages, those will work great. But the minute we have to do a join or a union, then we got to turn back to reporting. The same thing goes for advanced prompting. Yes, we have the ability to create dynamic filters in a dashboard, but I don't have the ability to do an advanced prompt or set certain default behaviors or macros or things where I want to do a prompt many OLAP slicer. And those of you who are report authors, you're probably shaking your heads yes right now because you've already looked at this and found that, yeah, I can't do that. And there are some restrictions on formatting. So why use reporting then? Because reporting, first off, isn't going anywhere. It's going to be more targeted. It's going to be targeted for a particular delivery. The majority of folks out there are still using Cognos as a conduit to other tools, whether it's to be able to FTP or bring it into another system or something along those lines. People use it as a data dump tool. Let's just acknowledge that. And being able to have a 1,000+ row report, I'm going to have to turn to reporting. And I'm going to have to turn to that to be able to format it, to be able to do group spanning, to be able to do things along those lines. I've still got to turn to reporting. And most important, especially given what I just said, reports are not always visualizations. Reports are going to be different things. They're going to be lists. They're going to be data tables. And for those of you who haven't looked at data tables yet, I encourage you to check them out. Okay. You can finally freeze your headers. Woo! We've got things like crosstabs, singletons, and there's repeater tables, being able to do the old map manager maps for when you have to print. All of those things are still only in the reporting interface. It's also typically a different author. The person building report is usually building it with the intent to be distributed. In most situations, a report author is not the user. They're building it for another group. They're building it for another person. They're building it to push out. And they're going to be more technical in nature. They're going to want to use raw SQL. They're going to want to use joins, unions, and intersections. They're going to want to leverage all the technical things they've been doing for the last many, many years. Okay? So there's our introduction. And I thank you so far. I'm seeing a beautiful amount that you're all paying attention, which is wonderful. So thank you very much so far. What I'd like to do next is I'm going to just literally run through about 5 demos. I'm going to show you 2 different dashboards from start to finish, and then I'm going to show you 3 different reports. And we're going to visually see the difference between the 2 technologies. Okay, so nothing exciting. We're going to see the difference. We're going to see how they work. Again, I'm in an 11.1.5. Okay, and we're going to start with some dashboard demos. So let's just start out building a dashboard. And just like reporting, we have to pick our template and our layout first. We've got our infographic templates if we want to do things that are aimed towards mobile delivery, aimed towards more of that scrolling, or we've got on screen with our standard ones. For right now, I'm just going to use the basic tab template. And before I even add a data source, let's take a look at the properties. Notice the properties of a dashboard. Things are centered around, GoToMeeting control panel in my way. Things are centered around presentation. Okay? Whether I'm showing the grid, I'm snapping the grid, the colors and the themes of my visualization. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on fit page. Now this is beautiful. These are the kinds of things we don't always see in reporting. Being able to have this auto size for our end user screen, no matter what. And this is one I would encourage you to be in a habit of using. Okay. So let's select our source. Everybody's favorite, good old Go Sales Query. Only been using that for the last couple of decades, right? And we're just going to build out a dashboard. And here's where it becomes nice for any skill level. While this package I wouldn't necessarily give to all users, I would give them subsets of this package. It's very well organized. It's very well set up. Right? Everything is nice and easy to see. And I'm going to expand out my products. And all I have to do is just drag this over. I just drag over product line. I don't have to think about it. I can move it right where I want it. And right on top of that, I'll drag my revenue. Now look at that. Think about how many users in your organization would love to be able to simply do that, get their answers, get what they need, be able to see it. And then let's lay this out. Notice those little green markers there. So I can see that, hey, I'm at about 50% and about 50%. That'll be good enough. And it resizes. And I can easily create a second one with order method type and with gross profit. Drag it on up here. set it up, and look at that. Good to go. Here's where we start to differ from reporting. The next steps in this are centered around formatting it. So if I go to my General tab and I turn on a title, notice I get this new tab called Text Details. Put in a title. I'm going to do that with this one. So you can definitely see that the amount of properties I have is much lower than I would normally see in reporting. Then we've got things like this, where I can take the axis. Now that I've got titles on these, I don't need an axis title. And I can rotate this. Where the heck am I? There it is. I can rotate that. And I can do the same thing over here. I'll get rid of the title, rotate it 45 degrees. And then I can take this, format the text. So you'll notice that what I'm doing here is I am focusing on things that impact how this looks visually, not data, not organizing. It's visually what I'm looking to do. So there's one of our biggest differences, is being able to do things visually. Okay? So there's some questions coming in. Make sure there's nothing that needs immediate answering. Okay, so good. Just wanted to check that real quick. And let's continue on. So, hey, you're probably thinking, wow, that's taking up a lot of screen real estate. It is. But guess what? We can also do more formatting. I can abbreviate that down. And I can abbreviate this one down. Some of you in earlier versions of Cognos Analytics may say, hey, that's new. They did just recently, I think it was .4, where they allowed you to be able to data format this as currency. So they are improving it. And as a matter of fact, I think it was .3 where we finally got copy and paste. Woohoo! You know, those important things, right? You need copy and paste. All right, what about this bottom section? Well, for the bottom section, instead of starting with data, I'm going to start with a visualization. So look at my options that are available to me. Okay. Sure, I've still got table. Sure, I've still got crosstab. But come on, everything else is really where the focus is. So I'm going to bring over a data player. Why? Because I can. And I'm going to add year into that. Collapse it on back down. And again, I'll resize it. And make sure that the height looks good. Yep. And now I'll preview this. And there you go. I built a dashboard for you in under 10 minutes. Okay. Try doing that in reporting or even Excel or anything else. And again, is it silly that I've got this little animation going on? Yeah, absolutely. But imagine something like this in the lobby of your organization, cycling through and having it so that clients or customers, as they walk in, can see what's going on. It's got that wow factor. It's very direct. It's very right there, and it looks good. Okay, well, that's fine and dandy, but I need something fancier because I need to send it to my finance folks. Okay, fair enough. So let's build a second dashboard, and let's target this one for a finance user. Okay? Let's target this to go out to somebody who might be in finance. Okay? This time I'm using the one that has the 4 boxes up the top plus the center. And the first thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to go to fit page. Okay. Yeah, I know. We're using Go Sales Query. It's your friend and mine. Well, I want singletons. All right, I'll give you singletons. Here you go. You want singletons? You can have singletons. I'm going to replace that one. I want revenue. And I want planned revenue. One thing that is nice is I can create calculations. So in my fourth box, I want the variance between these two. So I do have my calculation editor, and I do have all of my functions. Look at that. I've got all my macro functions that I would have in reporting. I have all my common functions I'd have in reporting. All of these are still here. Okay. So I can take revenue minus planned revenue. Click validate, looking good. Oop. Might have helped if I had renamed that. It's too much pressure for a Tuesday. And now I'll take variance and drop it right in there. Okay. Before I do this next part, I know the question's going to come. No, there is no format painter in here yet. Okay. I know that's what everybody wants, and there's no format painter in here yet. Also, notice that these are all different formatting. If I was in reporting, I could format them all at once. I cannot format them all at once here. So I do have to go one at a time and quickly change these so that they all look the same. So a little cumbersome, not gonna lie. But come on, it's not like we got any place to be. And my last one. And there we go. All right, so what about this lower section now? Remember, I said I'm building a finance-centric one. Okay, let's give finance people what they want. Let's give them a crosstab. Let's make a nice crosstab out of this. I'm going to throw gross profit, and I'm going to do product line, do sales region, and I've got a crosstab. Okay. But isn't this supposed to be visual, you said? Absolutely. So guess what? I'm going to put gross profit onto color as well. And that's where you all go, ooh, ah. Now I've got this nice. Now it was auto sizing in the last version. I don't know what happened here, to be quite honest with you. I don't know if it's something I did wrong. I'm willing to admit if I did something wrong, but it was auto sizing in the last version. For some reason, it doesn't want to auto size now, but that's okay. We'll make it work. I can set the width of each one of the boxes if I were to go into the properties. We take a look at this. So if I were to say, hey, default column width 175, it's just like if I was doing size and overflow inside of reporting. Okay. You'll also notice that the palette is backwards. I can quickly reverse that. I can also create a custom palette. Well, wait a minute, that's a lot of red. By default, it does split it out into equal chunks. Since we are here to talk about the differences between reporting and dashboarding, no, I can't just type in numbers. I do have to slide these over, and I have to kind of get them right where I want them. Okay. Yes, I've done this a lot of times. So slide those over to where I want them. But now I do have a conditionally formatted. I've got something that's looking nice here. I've got something clean. And that looks pretty darn good as a starting point for one of my users. And let's take this out. Let's do a little more formatting here. I want to go ahead. I'm going to add a background color. I'm going to take each one of the widgets. Border color. Make them look nice. And we're going to exit out into preview mode. And there we go. Thinking of this as a starting point. We've got something that provides summary data, a little bit of detail. It's color coded. Again, took me less than 10 minutes to produce. And my user can set this as their home. A lot of our users will come in, look at one, maybe two reports. If there's nothing to do, they go on about their day. So imagine allowing a user to be able to set this as their home and be able to look right at what they want. Let's enhance this real quick before I move into the reporting one. So I want you to see what is possible. I can add filters to this. So if I add a year filter, okay, and let's say I pick these two, let's just go with this 1 year. Notice that my whole thing updates, it's dynamic. But you may also notice that my formatting changed. Okay, it does not hold that formatting, unfortunately. But my user now has the ability to change the year when they view it. So it's interactive, dynamic, and something that some of you are probably thinking about, this is great for summary. How do I get to the detail? Okay. How do I get to the detail? And I do see there are some questions. Unfortunately, this control panel's in my way right now, so I can't get to the questions right now, but hopefully Mike and the rest of the group are trying to answer some of those for you as we're going through. I'm going to leave this open for a second. I'm going to save this as my finance dashboard webinar. And I am just going to start building a quick report. What I'm going to do is build one column. Throw a list out here. And I'm going to basically replicate what we just saw out there. I'll group those, and then I'm going to add something additional. I'm going to add in a parameter. So again, something we can't do. And I'll save this as my finance target report. Some of you probably already know what where I'm headed with this, where we're going with this. I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and I'm going to take this box right here, and I am going to set up a drill through. I'm going to add a new drill through definition. I'm going to pick my I swear I just saved that. You guys all just saw me save that, right? And this is why you always have one ready to go in the background, right? Notice that it did pick up my year parameter. Because I have the year filter here, I can pass the year value from here. Okay. And I have the option of applying it to all the visualizations on this that use Go Sales Query, or just the one that I'm choosing. Now I'm going to pick just the one that I'm choosing. So now, when my user is looking at this, my user can drill through and get to that detail. So here I get the best of both worlds, right? I've got something that allows me to create that nice high level while also going down to the detail as needed. Right? Now that's pretty awesome. So you get the best of both worlds in this case. Let's shift gears and look at reports now. Okay. So that's our two dashboard demos. Let's take a look at reporting. And let's look at how to create a dashboard style report. Close both of these. Use one column. I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. Okay. I'm old and I like to do things the old-fashioned way. And I'm going to start out with a table, and I'm going to make it 2 columns by 2 rows. Add my source. And let's put some objects on here. I'm going to put a crosstab, and I'm going to put a visualization. And I'm going to pick one of the newer visualizations. I'm going to put a pie out there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to format this. I'm going to throw some data in here. Product line, year, and revenue. Nothing exciting there, right? And then I will take sales region. Over here is my segments. And yes, I know that doing a pie, we should really be doing this as percentage, but for the sake of this demo, I'm going to put it in as magnitude. I'm going to violate the good rules of a pie. Okay. And then I'm going to take these 2 table cells. First off, look at the difference in my properties. I've got differences here in properties. I'm going to center top align those. And, oh, did I pick sales region? I wanted country on that. There we go. Okay. What about these 2 top boxes? Here's something I can do in reporting that I can't necessarily do in a dashboard. First off, I'm going to merge those together. Okay. And then I'm going to put in some padding. As I said early on, it's about the granular abilities. What can I do at that granular level that I can't do in a dashboard? Okay, so I did a center middle alignment. You know, it would be really neat here if in my crosstab, in each of the rows, I had the ability to see a line chart for each one of my product lines. That'd be really cool. Yes, it would. All right. So I'm going to do the one thing that will always keep reporting ahead of dashboarding. I'm going to unlock my report. And when I unlock my report, boy, oh boy, now we really are at that granular level And I'm going to take a micro chart, and I'm going to put a micro chart right into that cell. Oops, I missed the cell. No, I got it. There it is. It's right here in the cell. Okay. And I'll go ahead and I'll populate that. Throw gross profit as the measure. Put year as the series. Product line as the category. And now I'm going to do a master detail. Can't do a master detail inside of a dashboard. So again, these more advanced, more technical things, this is where I've got the advantage in reporting. And then for the top, I'm going to put a value prompt. I'm going to create a quick value prompt. I want it on those two, and always name your queries. You know that. Okay. Okay. Finish. Turn that to auto submit. And assuming I didn't screw anything up, okay, my spark line for some reason is not showing, but like I say, but look at this. Here I've got a dashboard style report with an embedded prompt. Still gives me the interactivity, but definitely gave me more control than I had in dashboarding. So the things that couldn't do in dashboarding, this prompting, the spark line, which hates me right now, being able to go down to that granular level of unlocking and unlocking my report. Okay. Those are the things that are still relegated to the world of reporting. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's take a look at another one that's along those same similar lines. Time we have 2:40. Perfect. Create another new report. Create a one column. Go sales query. And we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put a list on here. I'm going to go to the query level. This is where most of you probably work on a regular basis. You work here at the query level. And I'm going to put a join in. I'm going to throw in 2 more queries, one for query 1, one for query 2. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little basket analysis. So I'm going to take query 2 and I'm going to add in an order number. Add in the order number, and I'm going to create a parameter on product. And then I'm going to go to query 3. And for query 3, I'm going to bring in the order number, my date, my product, my quantity, and my revenue. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to pick a product. It is going to join to this, and our result is going to show us the details for the orders that contain the product picked from the parameter. Okay. So I'm using 2 separate queries, one to establish the product, the other to give me the details. Okay. So let's go back to the query and let's define our join. So here I'm going to join on that order number, and I'm going to set my cardinality. 1 to 1 on here, 1 to n on here. Again, these are the kinds of things that we can't do in a dashboard. In query 1, I'm going to take everything from query 3, drag it on over, go back to page 1, and add all these to my list. Okay. And real quick, I'll set my rows per page, group on those, and I'll set my product ascending. Okay. This is all exciting. You're all a tingle, aren't you? Let's run this one. So I'm going to pick bare edge. Now, these are the orders that contain bare edge and the additional items that were ordered. This is very simple basket analysis. Okay. Hey, I do see one question that just came through, and the answer is no. You cannot drag and drop a report onto a dashboard. It's about dropping data items onto a dashboard. Everything's from a data item perspective. Okay. You're welcome. So, like I say, I'm trying to see these as I can. So the prompt is not on the main query. The prompt is actually on query 2. That's why I have the join. So basically, I'm doing this for performance reasons in some respect too. Okay, because by doing the separate query, I'm able to get back the result set in query 2 with my, and then use that to get me my result set from query 3. Okay. So let me get back to that screen because there's too many darn screens open. So to show you that again in practice, here's query 2. Here's where my actual parameter is. Query 1 has nothing. Okay. So the join is handling, taking this subset, joining it to this to get us the results. This is going to be faster. Now, of course, I would do this on, make sure I'm doing something like this on an integer, not doing it on a string, all those types of things, make sure it's an indexed field. But by doing this, I end up with this, okay? This kind of analysis is not possible necessarily in a single pass query, especially not without a serious hit. But speaking of prompts, I want to show you one last one. It's a little bit older technique, but it does showcase and highlight what we're talking about here today. And that is using a prompt dynamically to do things like sorting or filtering. Okay. So I'm going to create a list. And in this one, I'm going to put year, product line, product number, and product and revenue. Okay. Group the first two. And then I'm going to drag a value prompt onto my screen and I'm put it right above it. I'm going to call this sort parameter. Okay. I don't want a parameterized filter. I don't want a new query because I'm going to set some default values. I'm going to set some static choices. So under static choices, I'm going to learn how to type. Got to make sure that matches. Product name and product number. Set auto submit to yes. Okay, I'm going to go to the default selections. I'm going to set a default selection to product name. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to drag over a query calc. Throw this out here. I'm going to call this sort item. If sort parameter equals product number, then product number else product. Again, can't do something like that inside of a dashboard. Okay. Can't do that there. I'm going to take this, go up to sort, edit my layout sorting, and I'm going to bring the sort item into the detail sort list. And I'm going to cut this. All right. Again, perfect world. When I change to product number, oh, look at that. Ooh, ah. So you'll notice that I'm changing from being sorted on the product name to the product number. Not bad, right? And that's where I'm going to stop. So you see, we've got some advanced stuff there, things that you can't necessarily do in dashboarding. It does fall under that more technical type of stuff, but dashboarding does give us a lot. But again, we get more granular control, we get advanced scheduling, the prompting, which I showed you a few. I can emulate, as I showed you in the demo. I do have drill throughs in both, but I definitely have more drill through capability, like self-referencing drill throughs, map-to-map drill throughs, things like that. I've got more complicated, complex calculated fields, the query level. That's the biggest one there, being able to work at the query level. Okay. More data containers, and then we've got things like table of contents and hyperlinks and bookmarks if I'm doing briefing books. If I want to call the API, if I want to use JavaScript, those sorts of things are still limited to the world of reporting. And Mike, that's what I have. It's back to you now.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. Please take a look at the question pane if you get a chance. I red flagged some of there's a bunch of great questions, everybody. We got about 10 minutes left here. I'm going to run through a few slides, get your questions in, and definitely stick around. There's really good ones. We just want to offer up that, there's a lot here, and you can see the waters can get, a little deep, as our founder, John Peterson, likes to say, and we can help you, whether that's leveraging one of our business intelligence experts like Patrick on demand. Let us know. Likewise, we can help you upgrade your system to take advantage of the latest and greatest. And with that, it's worth noting that 11.0 is going to be out of support fairly soon. It was originally released in November of 2018. So if you're still on that version, might be a good idea to start planning for your next upgrade, especially given that the 11.1.7 version is slated to be the final long-term support LTS for the 11.1 build. So if you upgrade to that version, you'll be supported for 2+ years with hot fixes, tech support, et cetera, et cetera. So that's probably a good one to target. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our awesome training. Many of our classes led by Patrick here on our call. We offer 2 authoring classes specifically, a beginning authoring class we're doing August 11th and 12th, an advanced class September 22nd and 23rd. Hard to believe we're looking ahead in September already. And a dashboards class on August 4th. Additionally, all our courses are available for private group instruction and can be a cost-effective approach for your organization. So real quickly about our organization at Senturus, we concentrate our experts solely on business intelligence with a depth of knowledge across the entire BI stack. And we're known for bridging the data and decision gap. We provide clarity from the chaos of complex business requirements, disparate data sources, constantly moving targets, and changing regulatory environments. We've made a name for ourselves based on our strength at bridging that gap between IT and business. We deliver solutions giving you access to reliable, analysis-ready data across the organization, enabling you to quickly and easily get answers at the point of impact in the decisions you make and the actions you take. We offer a full spectrum of BI services, everything from requirements gathering to building data lakes and data warehouses to building the front-end dashboards, reports, and visualizations, and everything in between, including project management, software, and support for hybrid BI environments, whether that's migrations or security or performance optimizations. We do it all, again, focused solely around the area of BI. And we're so confident in our team and the Senturus methodology that we back our projects with a 100% money-back guarantee that's unique in the industry. We've been at this for a while. We've been focused solely on this, again, for nearly 2 decades at this point. We work across the spectrum from Fortune 500 clients down to the mid-market, solving business problems across virtually every industry and functional areas, including the Office of Finance, Sales and Marketing, Manufacturing, Operations, HR, and IT. We pride ourselves on being large enough to meet all of your business analytics needs, yet small enough to provide personalized attention. And then a couple other resources here. Again, you can expand your knowledge, find more resources at the URL below. We've got all kinds of great stuff there. Bookmark that and check back often. That will have this webinar and many others, as well as our blog and other great events. And on the next slide, we do have a great upcoming event, Accelerate Report Migrations from Cognos to Power BI and Tableau. That will be on Thursday, August 6th. So at our usual webinar time here, you can register at the link found there. And of course, as I mentioned before, training, we offer training in the top 3 BI platforms, Cognos, Power BI, and Tableau. We're ideal for organizations that are running multiple platforms or for those moving from one to another. Our instructors, like Patrick, are multilingual in all of these platforms and can traverse them relatively easily. We provide training in many different modes, whether that's in person or instructor-led online or self-paced training and small group mentoring sessions. Additional resources, we've got all kinds of great stuff there. Head over to the Senturus site. We've been committed to sharing our BI expertise for over a decade with events such as this. And with that whirlwind tour, we move on to the Q&A section. I don't know, Patrick, if you have a favorite you want to lead with, or if you just want to sort of work our way down from the top to the bottom.
I've been going through them, and thank you, Mike. I've been going through them, and what I'm seeing over and over again is really a lot of what the point of this whole class was, is that you guys would like to see a lot of these things in dashboarding that just aren't there yet. You know, being able to change to radio buttons, being able to change conditional color formatting. Aziz, I think you've got like 3 or 4 questions possibly that are all falling under that same category, you know. And Christopher, you have a question about locking the filters. No, see, these are the things that are still limited to that world of reporting. They're excellent questions and they're excellent features that you all want. Okay, there was Alexis wanted to know, hey, can I put slicers and filters on there? Nope, you got to still use reports. Okay, so I think that's a lot of the takeaway from these questions is you guys want to do all these wonderful things, and that's where we still do have some of these limitations, unfortunately.
What about exporting to Excel, Patrick? There were two
Nope.
people that right back to back asked about that from their dashboard.
And yeah, and unfortunately, I think I still have this open. When I go out here, I got to get this control panel out of my way again. When I come out here to a dashboard, you know what? I'll just open one real quick. That'll be faster. Let's open this up. What can I do with this? How can I export it? How can I get rid of it? And I just don't have those options. I can export to PDF. Okay, that's my option because there's an assumption I'm going to print this. So I can export it out to PDF and that's it. Unfortunately, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yep. Okay. Now, what about, there are some specific questions around filtering using radio buttons rather than checkboxes. I assume they're sort of single select versus multi-select in the dashboarding realm.
Nope.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'd be wrong. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, this right here, that's my option. There are no other options for that.
Okay. What about defaults for formatting within the options behind the scenes somewhere? It sounds like
do you want me to just keep saying nope?
That's fine. Yeah, we're just kind of getting into the specific questions.
And honestly, gang, that's the thing. Like, there's no properties pane for this filter. I don't have the option over here under properties to change this filter. I don't have the option for conditional formatting on this element. It's going to be an all or nothing when I want to change the color. I don't have the ability to just change this with a conditional format. These are the kinds of things that are still in reporting, unfortunately. And so again, I'm trying to answer these questions as quickly as I can, but realistically, unfortunately, no. A lot of this is going to be still in reporting. Now, there was one, Randy, you wanted drill throughs. You saw earlier, I was able to do the drill through from this summary object. So drill throughs I can do. And I don't know why it's doing this, but I can do a drill through from here. So that, and they are adding more and more with each release, okay?
I think someone had asked, sorry, I didn't
what
mean
was
to
that?
Yeah, is there, I didn't mean to cut you off if you were finishing a thought.
No, I'm just saying they're adding more and more every day. And Scott, you're absolutely right. There are some things today that I said you can't do that you can do in a product like Tableau. As Mike mentioned, I'm certified in all these products, so I get to see what they all do all the time. And yeah, absolutely. And in a lot of organizations, there's absolutely no reason why you can't have both, because there's one thing that Tableau can't do really well that Cognos does, and that's modeling. For Tableau Prep isn't where Framework Manager is, right? There's no such thing as the perfect product, because once there is, we're all out of a job. So yeah, you're right. There are things, but IBM is continuing to add to this. They're continuing to improve it. I'm personally excited to see what's going to be in .7. And that's 3 o'clock, so I'll shut up now, Mike.
Great. Well, we do want to be mindful of folks' time here, so I think we do have some questions that are left here. We'll take a look at those, and where appropriate, we'll provide answers and post those up on the Senturus website. But firstly, I want to thank our presenter, Patrick, today for an action-packed hour of content with a lot of great material there. So thank you very much, Patrick. And thanks to all of you in our audience for spending your lunch hour or thereabouts with us today. We look forward to seeing you on another event. And if you have any business analytics needs, feel free to reach out to us. You can see across the bottom there, you can go to our site, call us on the 888 number, or email us at info@senturus.com. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.